For our model today, we're gonna cut a Princeton hairstyle, sometimes referred to as an Ivy League haircut. This is a real popular haircut. I would say in my 25-year career, this is the second most popular haircut that I've done. What's great about this haircut, especially for young children, it's really easy to style, especially when the hair grows in a circle around the head. So as I spin them around to show you why we're gonna do this, when you look at the circle back here, how it grows, what we actually do is we take our longest clipper attachment or clipper blade and we actually buzz right over the crown from here back and up the sides. Same length, and we do a little shorter around the edges. So that way, for this particular hairstyle, we blend it into the front and this hair doesn't stick up or stick out or give his mom any trouble in the morning before school until it's time for a haircut. So this haircut lasts a good 3 to 4 weeks. So what we do here, the transition area from the back to the front is right here. Bend your head back just a little bit, thank you. Is right in through here. We blend it to the front. And then what we do is we come from the front back. If you can see, the hair grows straight forward. So we're gonna come from the front back and cut it in that direction. And at the very end, with some really thick grooming cream, we're just going to push it to the side and push it up a little bit in the front. So it's a really good hairstyle for all ages actually, but especially for young children. So for this haircut, what I like to do is I always like to start on the top and work my way down. So we're going to do that with the fade and the taper around the edges. And then the last thing we'll do is we'll blend the top right into it. And then we're bringing it around in a circle. You can see that circle that his hair grows in, so we're going to come down. And then come around this way. And then back up. And that way we get that whole little swirl. So that swirl comes off. Nice and easy. Now we're going to switch to the sides. Now when we shave up on the sides, I want to come right to about here and take an imaginary line straight up in the air. I don't want to round the corners. So we have a contoured shaped haircut in the back, which means the haircut follows the contour or the shape of the head, and we want it square in the front like this, which leaves a little bit of weight in the corner so we can get a nice part to the side. So from the front, it looks like a side part haircut, and then from the back, it looks like a buzz cut. So I'm using my 1/2-inch blade right now. And then after this one, about 2 to 3 fingers, I use a 3/8 of an inch blade, which cuts it a little shorter around the edges and gives the hair a little bit more dimension. So now we have our next blade size down. This is a 3/8 of an inch attachment, and we're just going to blend it into the 1/2 inch length that we used up here. So we want to make sure that we use a slow fading or tapering motion and take an imaginary straight line. So as his head rounds in, we want to take an imaginary straight line up in the air. If we do any flicking or scooping motions, we're going to create a line or a ridge or a weight line around the head. That's really going to show up, especially with fine blonde hair. So as you can see, the hair grows straight forward and then it starts to grow down towards the bottom. So it's very important you pay attention to the growth pattern of the hair. So as I work my way up, I start to turn the clipper, but as I rotate the clipper, I'm also rotating these top teeth out so I don't cut a hole into this area up here. I want to make sure that from here down is the 3/8 and from here up is the 1/2 inch. I don't want to cross over. So now I'm going to use a 1/8 of an inch blade. In the metal blade system, it's a 1.5 blade. So what this blade does is it allows us to start our taper, but also in this area here, it cuts and blends at the same time. So we're going to start blending it towards the top. So what I'm doing is I'm angling the heel of the blade away from the comb, so I cut and blend at the same time. If the heel of the blade is on the comb, we're just cutting. If we're at a 45-degree angle, it's cutting and blending. If we're at a 90-degree angle, we're just blending. So as I work my way up the side, I go from cutting and blending to just blending. And then while I'm doing that, I'm also taking the tip of the blade and using a scooping motion around the outline of the haircut, and that starts the taper. Because what I don't like to do with these haircuts is just make a straight line all the way around the edges. This nice taper or faded neckline really makes the haircut stand out. So now as we're on the top, as I said, this is our section up here that we want to blend. So what I do is I bend the head down. So as I bend the head down, I'm always looking in the mirror while I'm cutting and making sure we get that nice smooth blend. So what I do is I get the first few teeth of that big clipper comb and make sure that we get this blend here. And then after the initial blend on the top, we come from the front at the end of the haircut after we do the rest, and we'll cut from the front to the back and meet it.
Are you a member of HowToCutHair.tv? Learn the art of men's barbering from third-generation master barber Greg Zorian in full HD, 24/7 from anywhere in the world. Sign up for your free membership and learn how to increase your efficiency and make more money behind the chair. HowToCutHair.tv.
Okay, so now we'll bend his head straight down. And then we're going to use that scooping motion. And when you're doing this, you want to make sure at all times this clipper blade is parallel to the floor. If that clipper blade is parallel to the floor, you're not going to round that corner. So now we're going to close it halfway. Now we're going to close it all the way, and each time you're going to drop the clipper blade down a little bit, and that's what's going to cause the tapering or fading effect. If we go up too high, we're going to cut a hole in the hairline, and we're going to have to bring it all up too high, which we don't want to do. So now we continue on to the other side. We're going to keep that angle so we don't round the corner. And if you have to, you can do a little clipper over comb. And if you notice, I'm using a smaller comb. This is a finishing comb. I don't need that big of a comb around the outline of the haircut. It would be too big and bulky, and you wouldn't be able to do this properly. So now as we come around, we're going to check his hairline. So he has the same, just this one little spot right there that's really light in color. So we're not going to taper that spot because it'll look bald there. But in front of it, where it gets darker again, we're going to taper that out so it matches. So now we're going to use our outliner. And for this part, when we're doing sideburns, you want to make sure the chin is parallel to the floor. Okay? And then you want to make sure your blade is parallel to the floor. That way we get the sideburn nice and straight. And then we turn the clipper up and we shave up. We never want to make a line and shave down because the cutting teeth are too close to the stationary blade and it's going to cause the irritation, especially with fine colored hair usually has sensitive skin. And if you drag that clipper blade down, you're going to see red marks and irritation. We don't want any irritation. Then we're going to pull the ear down here. You should see a few little pieces of hair pop out there. I turn the clipper backwards and use an upward shaving motion just to get that hair. I don't like to turn it around and press this way because if you have a tendency to press too hard, again, we don't want to cause any irritation or anything. If you have a good clipper and you take care of it, it's going to cut the hair very easily. Around the ear here, his hairline is higher behind the ear, so we don't have to draw that line out. It'll be too high, so we just leave that alone. The taper got it. Now we bend the head to the side, and we want a nice diagonal line here. And we're just going to shave to it. And then as I'm spinning the chair, I'm always checking my mirror to make sure everything is even. So now on the hairline, which you'll find a lot with fine light colored hair, with children, they usually tend to have a lot of fuzz on their neck. So I want to go all the way down to the t-shirt line. And even if you can't really see it that well, you can hear it, and then you can see it fall off the clipper. So you don't want to cut any corners. You want to make sure we get it all. Because you don't want the client getting home and mom and dad see, fuzz on the neck still. So I'm going to work my way all the way to the back. I want to get the whole center section. So just think of this comb as your fingers and picking it up with your fingers. It's just the hair is too short to pick up with your fingers. Now I locate my center guide. So I always want to make sure I cut against the grain. As you can see, the hair grows straight forward. That's why I'm combing it backwards against the grain. And now I've made a couple cuts. I just want to check his face and make sure there's no hair on his face, making him all itchy here. And his hair seems to dry pretty quickly, so we're going to give it a little bit more water. Now on the side, it's all growing straight to the side, so now I'm going to come from the side and take my side section and blend that right into the center. And when I get to the center, I can see my center guide in the comb. My guides are going to meet, and that's where I know to stop cutting. I want to take a look at that front. Now I never want to take the front and cut it straight across, because we want the front to be the longest part of the haircut. Once you cut that front straight across, it becomes the shortest part of the haircut. So if we have some hair that looks a little bit longer, you can lift it up and you'll be able to see it that way. You can see it right there. And I just won't over direct it back as far, and that'll cut the front length. So now we're going to work on the opposite side, the left-hand side. And angle that comb down as we work our way towards the back. Now as we check the front, it's still a little bit long in the middle there.
Introducing Zorian of New York, premium grooming products for the modern man, designed by third-generation master barber Greg Zorian. Made in the USA and not tested on animals, each of our styling products is infused with natural ingredients and features light, clean fragrances. Our 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner is sulfate and paraben-free and color-safe. Do you own a barbershop or salon, rent a chair, or run a school? Find out how we support our retailers with world-class barbering education and product knowledge training. We're currently accepting applications for wholesale accounts and invite you to apply on our website, Zorian of New York.
For a Princeton style haircut, we have many different styling options. It depends on if the client would like a wet look, a dry look, a firm hold, or a softer hold, or a dry finish. So for this type of haircut, I've used all three. We can use a cream, which is going to give a medium hold and medium shine. We could use a paste, which is going to give a high hold but a dry finish. We could use a pomade, which is going to make it very shiny with a strong hold, or a gel, which would give it even a stronger hold and more of a shine. For this particular client and his mom, they like to use a grooming cream. So we've chosen our brand, our Zorian of New York grooming cream. So we're going to take a good amount of the grooming cream, especially for the front, because you can see how his hair grows straight forward. So we want to make sure that we use enough product so that we can at least get his hair to go to the side. If we used a gel or something lighter, it wouldn't hold his hair to the side. So when you're dealing with hair that grows straight forward, you want to make sure that you use a product that's strong enough to hold it to the side all day. So we want to make sure that that the product doesn't go in clumpy, which as long as we rub it in our hands really good and emulsify it, just like this. And then we want to push it all, get it on the top first and push it all straight forward. And then it's still on your hand, so then you want to come from the front all the way to the back and then back forward again. And that way we get it all the way down to the roots. And then we're going to get a rubber brush with the teeth really close together, and we're going to brush it again straight forward. Now this is very important when you're styling hair. You want to make sure you get the product all the way to the root so you take advantage of it. What some people tend to do is just put some on the top and push it to the side. That's not enough. You want to get all the way down to the roots so it's going to have a strong hold all day. So then after we brush it forward, we brush it to the side. And now you can see that product is so strong it's holding the hair to the side. And then in the front, we're just going to push it up a little bit. Okay, and then you can see he has a little bit of a cowlick in the front, and this haircut is perfect for, or this hairstyle is perfect for the way his hair grows. So now we'll spin him around and we'll show you what it looks like styled. So again, this is called a Princeton hairstyle, or it can be called an Ivy League hairstyle. Great for all ages. And we finished it off with our Zorian of New York grooming cream, which has a medium shine and a medium hold.